Heck, help me out, Colorado plant,
The north plant.
Colorado to the 12, the one that's in this plant here, the 12 inch
Oh,
line.
it's from Cherry Street to the Colorado plant on Colorado. So,
That's the other project that's part of this finance.
And Kelso, I think the other thing, just to kind of note in the value of having those payments reduced to this amount is within the 3 years, Fred, we're gonna have those other debts roll off. And so it's gonna really free up some of our.
You should have, dollars, you should have your 2016, 2012 bond, that'll be paid by, 2027, so that should help free things up. So that's why the first 3 years are really important to us. And I think Robert's done a really good job of trying to get it to where we're managing this as best we can.
Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Cadena?
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none, we've got a motion and a second. There's no further questions. I'll ask for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. 7B, discuss consideration and approval of a resolution by the City Council of the City of Pearsall, Texas, authorizing and approving publication of the notice of intent to issue one or more series of certificates of obligation and providing for other matters in connection therein. This is an action item. We'll ask for a motion in a second. Motion by Councilman Trevino, second by Councilwoman A. Garza. Mr. Tejadino, you have the floor.
Mayor, City Manager, council members, again, for the record, Robert Tejadino Financial Consulting, the city's financial advisor. On the presentation I handed out on page 2 is kind of a general overview of the notice of intent that will be published in the local newspaper. By approving this item, it'll be published next Thursday, September the 12th, and the following Thursday, September the 19th. And that is required by law in order to issue certificates of obligation and notice of intent with the dollar amount, general statement of the projects, and the time and date and location when the council will be meeting to approve the financing as final.
Okay, all right, so I got that. Council, any other questions? Hearing none, we've got a motion and a second. I'll ask for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passed unanimously. Going on to item 7.
Thank you, Mayor. Council
See,
members,
thank you. We'll be in touch. Sorry. All right, thank you.
And justice for you. Thank you.
7C, discuss and consider interlocal agreement between Fresno County, Dilley ISD, Pearsall ISD, and the City of Dilley, the City of Pearsall for emergency ambulance services. This was a previously tabled item. It is an action item.
Motion.
There's a motion and a second. We've got a motion by Councilman Trevino. We have a second by Councilwoman Talamontes. With that, I'm going to turn the floor over to our city manager.
As the mayor and council, as the mayor alluded to, this has been a previously tabled item. It was tabled back in May of '24. In your packet, which you'll find are the minutes to that meeting. And again, basically there was some discussion, and I believe we have some of the folks from Carroll County that are also here as well. If you have any other questions regarding this agreement, the interlocal and the overall contract. I think one of the questions was a review of the contract that the county entertained as far as the EMS service. And so that's in your packet as well. I believe the total payment, one of the questions that came up with that contract, what the total payment was, I believe it's $840,000, correct me if I'm wrong. It was on page, if you look at your packet, it was on page 37. Can't really see the page. Yeah, it is. It's a bottom of the, if you look at page 37, it's at the top. Top of that, it says Article 4, payments and fees. The county shall pay the Allegiance the sum of $210,000 per calendar year and on or before the 15th day beginning October 2023 for a total amount of $840,000, and that's per year. And I believe this is I don't remember if it came up, but maybe it did. It's a 5-year contract, if I'm mistaken. But anyway, that is the amount, and so what they're requesting was $25,000. So again, if there's any questions, that was the request. And that's kind of where we are with the item. As far as budget purposes, we could figure something, I'm sure, if, depending on if the council agreed to a dollar amount, for this coming year. It's, the grand scheme, it's not a lot of money, but it is $25,000 out of the budget that we currently don't have budget.
I have a question, and council will open it up to you guys, but we have representatives from the county here. And just, one of the things that I had a question about, and you may not have a copy of that contract in front of you, but I want to make sure that this contract runs in conjunction with EMS current provider.
It was designed to be that way, yes. So, I don't have it in front of me, I don't remember the exact dates, but when it was drafted, and I know we drafted it, it was drafted to terminate and stay in lockstep with our agreement with our EMS provider.
And that includes if there's an early termination for any reason?
Correct. The agreement as it stated allowed that if, for whatever reason, if the agreement between Frio County and Allegiance was terminated, any member to the contract would be able to submit their termination at that point.
All right, that was my question. Council, do you have a question?
I have a question. How many stations will y'all have in the county?
When you mean stations, I'm assuming you mean ambulance units. We have 3 units that are currently in play with our contract with Allegiance. They are the highest level, so that each of them has a paramedic on board. They're able to basically respond to any kind of medical emergency. Right now, the way we do it is we have 1 unit stationed in Pearsall, 1 unit stationed in Dilley, and 1 unit stationed in the Moore and Bigfoot area. And based on who gets called when, obviously the closest unit will respond to every call, and then it's kind of like shell games. We move the units down where we think they're going to be needed most. But when everything is calm, it's Dilley, Pearsall, and then the one in North Frio County.
Council?
The only other question I have, Fred, this particular agreement was the same agreement that was in place for how long has this particular agreement been in place?
This agreement, actually, the dollar amount is different, and then, if I remember correctly, I can't say that it was verbatim the same agreement, I'd be lying to you if I told you that. But it is an agreement, we've had similar agreements, I'll put it that way, as far as the city and the county on EMS service. So at least the one that I'm aware of, which is, I think dates back, I can't recall.
There were prior agreements between Frio County and the city of Pearsall. I believe the dollar amount attached to that one was maybe along the lines of 75 or higher. I think that agreement lasted for maybe 3 to 4 years and ended maybe 2 years ago. I could be wrong. COVID has completely ruined my ability to remember what happened when for all time. But yeah, it's been lapsed for a few years.
So we could easily say that some of these numbers have been in place from previous years and previous administrations.
There have been payments made for EMS services.
When was it terminated? When did we terminate?
There was a, if I remember correctly, when I think I was accepted the position here in 2019, and I believe there was payments for, again, this was all, all the details, but I do know that there was payments where they were waived, or there were some considerations for no, and then when COVID hit, there was some other considerations, and I want to say that we paid, not even it was a dollar amount that was back in, I can't recall, 75,000 one year, and I don't recall all the details, but I know that it was years where they were waived, I do know that. But I know that there were some considerations made by the former county judge, as far as waiver fees.
I think Councilwoman Trevino, I think we were on the council when that happened, and I do recall the figure was 75,000, and we had paid up until I want to say it was 19 or 18 when we petitioned the county to allow us to not because of financial constraints. Council, I'm going to make a recommendation that we authorize the city manager to negotiate with the county up to the amount that's on the contract. There's been some solidarity between the county, and I know we still have some issues that we're working out, but I would like to show solidarity with the county. I think it would be good. We asked them to help with the 4th of July, and we did. We asked them
Did
to
we
help.
receive payment for that?
Say that again?
Have we received payment for that?
Not yet.
We haven't been invoiced, so we haven't, submitted, or, I know, the mayor, requested, asked the judge if there can be a contribution, but as soon as we get that invoice, we can we can issue the payment.
And then, in addition to that, we just had an active shooter training, which was pretty good, and the county contributed with, along with two others, the school and GEO, along with the city. So there is some solidarity there, and I would, you know, I recognize, and the county recognizes too, we have budget constraints, so we're working within that. But, I would ask the council to allow Fred to work within the confines of that, up to, as he finds the funds available, up to the amount indicated in that. So that's my statement. I don't know if you guys would each like to make one. What do you got, Councilman?
I was just gonna ask, how did you guys come to the agreement as far as like who was gonna pay what for the active shooter and,
It was, about 17,000, it was split 4 ways.
and you received payment?
I don't know. We did receive payment from GEO yet, but, I don't think so. I don't, I mean, I don't have concern that we won't receive the payment. I believe that we will. I'm not concerned we won't.
Is that it? Is it we just need an invoice then?
Have we not
Crystal, do you
invoiced for
have
that one
that?
either? I have not seen any invoices for the active shooter or for the 4th of July.
And somebody say why, I mean, where are we at on our side?
Okay, hold on a second. What?
I'm asking, so why haven't we invoiced, what's going on our side?
Well, no, I don't know if it's on our side, I don't know that we were requested, or invoice requested, we normally on our end, we'll pay the amount, whatever it is, most of the time. The other piece is, and I wanna make sure that if it's an invoice, we'll send you one. The other one is, I think on the TERS, are you expecting an invoice on TERS, is that?
The TERS, I expect to issue payment, y'all can send an invoice anytime, but we can do it October.
We don't know the assessed amount,
Okay.
you know what I mean, I don't know that, okay.
We can get together and talk it out.
Okay, I'll get you some invoices,
Okay.
but to that end, I wasn't aware.
Okay, Councilwoman Trina?
I was just gonna ask, how did we come up with this 25,000?
I believe in my recollection, so previously we had it at 75,000, it was based on call volume, and it was broken down via the number of calls that happened within the city limits of Pearsall, the number of calls that happened within the city limits of Dilly, and then throughout the county as a whole. I think in order to simplify things, our county judge, who apologizes that she can't be here today, she's under the weather, decided to just go with a flat fee of 25,000.
And if I may, I'm Commissioner Martinez. So, this is something that was in the past, right? Yeah, we're contributing a little bit, and anything helps, to be quite honest. We just went to the school board, last week, and we asked the same thing, 25,000, anything helps. Currently, the contracted rate is $880,000. The lowest bid that we received this year alone, or this past year, the last time we went out for bid, was 1.4 million. We don't see this number going down. And I hate to say this, right, but it's something that we strive to have good emergency service, but we don't really know how to pay for it. We are working in the county to look for better alternatives, which is creating the ESD board. That would definitely help. Again, that's a different subject, but that's looking in the future. Anything right now would actually help us, the county, to help us in our budget. It's not a set number. We would like more, but at this point, we understand that there's some constraints within the city, and anything that can help would help us as well.
I mean, we understand when there's a budget issue because we're in the same situation. But the problem is the county in that bad of condition as far as money-wise, they don't need our help because we have our problems of our own. For instance, infrastructure, roads, so forth. And we really don't get help from the county. Every time we go to the county and ask for help us build this road, we get a price. And it's not a friendly price. So the issue there is, when are y'all gonna give us a hand when we need it?
And I'll speak on behalf of that. So for starters, there's 44% of the costs throughout the county happen within the city limits. That's a big number, so most of the costs are within the city limits. The next thing, and I'll be the first one to say, it started with Commissioner Carizales, but we're allocating ourselves, commissioners, we're allocating money, putting it aside in our budget to help out any projects that are within the city. We serve the same people, the same voters are the same constituents within the city and the county, and we're here to help each other. I truly believe that we need to help each other. At the end of the day, we're serving the same individuals. And yes, in a sense, you can say that the county has said, you know what, we understand the constraints within the city, and that's what we haven't pushed the subject, but we are needing assistance. We're all needing the help, and that's why we're here. And again, it's $880,000 this year. Next year, it's gonna go up. $25,000, $45,000 is just a drop in the bucket. It's really not much help, but it does help. I mean, at the end of the day, it does help. And again, most of the majority of the call volume is within the city.
And y'all, I know, go ahead,
Sorry,
Councilwoman.
I just have a question. Okay, so if our citizens, right, that live inside the Pearsall city limits are paying county taxes, and that goes towards, you know, some of that contribution for EMS, why would we, not why would, I guess, is it fair to ask for more for them to receive the EMS services? You know, that's what we're trying to get at, is because it's kind of like we're telling our citizens, hey, you have to pay double taxes in order for you to get EMS. So God forbid something should happen to you, Mr. Thurby, or you, ma'am, you know, because you're paying your county taxes, but we want you to pay, you know, city taxes towards EMS too. It's double dipping and, you know, how do we explain that to our citizens?
I don't like the word double dipping, right? But, so let me start off by saying this. I've been a commissioner for 2 years. And I'll tell you this, as a new political individual within the county and the community, I'll tell you a lot of things that you see, you ask yourself, why has this happened this way? Why has this going on for so many years? And to be quite honest, it's just individuals. Individuals' perspective of certain items or subjects. And at the end of the day, again, I go back to the point that we serve the same people. And back to your answer, to your question, you're right. We can, the county, say, well, guess what? We're not gonna service Pearsall anymore. But that would, exactly, city, again, acquiring the county taxes, leaving the county within the county and the city within the city. But I don't agree with that. That's not a mindset to have. Let's work together. It's not double taxation, because the money that you receive that's getting paid within the city does not go and pay the county to fund what they're doing. And believe it or not, I'm also on the board for the appraisal district. The county has the highest tax rate. The city has one of the highest tax rates. The school board has one of the highest tax rates too, versus compared to the county. We have the lowest tax rate. We try our best to work within our budget. Our tax rate is 62 cents, right?
So it's 62 cents, but what's your tax?
Allow me to finish, then you ask a question. Go ahead.
So it's 62 cents, and that's servicing throughout the whole county. I think the school is close to $1, and y'all are about 80-something cents.
Look at your values, those we
And yes, the values are going up. So, and again, I go back to the whole fundamental idea of we're serving the same citizens. $25,000 is really a drop in the bucket. It really doesn't help much, but it does. It helps us a little bit so we can continue to serve again the same constituents. And again, we've allocated money aside to help with the city within certain projects. And we, as a county, we just can't go out there and do the work for free. There's a,
Not free, it's like taxes.
So can I?
we have to charge for
Whenever,
that.
we do an interlocal agreement, so I know, speaking to Mr. Leal's, question regarding the high fees that we charge, we follow FEMA rates. So whenever we use our heavy road equipment, our rollers, our dozers, we follow how many hours were they on the project, the FEMA rates, and then we do, charge an hourly rate for our, employees who are out there. So we have 10 employees of the county who are operating the heavy road equipment for the city. It's their hourly rate plus the hourly FEMA rate for the rental of the equipment. So we do pay our employees a little bit higher than what the city pays. So that's why you also see that higher hourly rate plus the FEMA rate for the heavy road whenever we do that interlocal agreement, that we had in place, I think it's expired.
I believe so.
Okay, we had, and I think out of that, contract, we were only able to fulfill like 2 projects with the city. So since that the city, the county has set aside funding to help the city of Pearsall and the city of Dilley with interlocal, projects for next budget year. It's just with the city providing an updated